We now discuss the last type of strong authentication method, timestamp scheme. Among the three types of strong authentication methods, perhaps you will be the most familiar with this timestamp scheme, because this scheme is widely used in the banks by using digital tokens. So in these digital tokens, in fact, they are using this timestamp scheme to perform the authentication process. Let's see how does it work. Just like challenge response scheme, timestamp scheme also requires to have a shared secret key between Bob, the client, and Alice, the server. And that is the prerequisite of timestamp scheme. But there is a key difference between timestamp scheme and challenge response scheme, which is in terms of computing the one-time challenge value. Instead of the server computing the one-time challenge value, in here, they both keep a synchronized clocks, and the current time is simply used as the one-time challenge. So that means when using timestamp scheme, there is no need to compute and send back and forth of the one-time challenge value. Instead, the current time on this synchronized clock is simply used as one-time challenge value. So how does it work? Assume that Bob wants to log into this Alice, the server. It simply needs to encrypt the current time on this synchronized clock by using the secret key K. And then he simply sends this encrypted value together with his ID to Alice, the server. So how does Alice, the server, verify this response value to check whether Bob is a legitimate user? Alice simply needs to take, again, the current time, let's call it T prime, on her synchronized clock. Of course, the time will be different by now, but the idea behind this is the time difference should be within a predefined time window. So how does it work? Alice simply needs to decrypt this response value that is received from Bob, this value received from Bob, and Alice decrypts it using the shared secret key. Since they both share the secret key, and this encryption, of course, by now you should be able to guess that is using a symmetric encryption method. If this key K is used to encrypt, the same key K can be used to decrypt to get back the original value, which is the time T. And by comparing against the current time T prime and checking whether the time difference is less than the predefined threshold, then the verification is successful. That means the time difference between Bob when he's trying to send an authentication request by computing this response, and the current time at the Alice server site, if the difference is less than a predefined threshold, that means Bob is considered as the legitimate user, which has the right credential. And that is how timestamp scheme works. And one thing to take note, if you have noticed it, difference from challenge response scheme, we are here only using the encryption. Hash is not used here. And if you have understood all these strong authentication methods, you should be able to identify why we are not using hashing method here. So the challenge for you is look at all these three strong authentication methods again, compare the differences and similarities between these three methods, and discuss their strengths and weaknesses. And that is the exercise for you. With that, see you next time. Thank you very much.